guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm just doing a quick intro on my phone, so apologies about this, but I am just editing this video and I realised it didn't have an intro, so here we are. Today in this video I'm going to be sewing the PAPERCUT Estella dress. It's a pattern that I've wanted to make for ages and finally got around to making, and yeah, I essentially just start off the next clips on me showing you what preparations I'd made and the pattern cut out. And actually this is the first sew along video that I've done where I've done quite a lot of thorough steps, so like showing you the steps that I'm doing and the sewing process and stuff like that. So hopefully it'll be a really helpful vlog for you guys if you want to make this pattern and this is the first time that you're sort of watching something to do with that pattern. So I'm hoping seeing it in video format will be helpful to you guys. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and apologies again about the crappy intro, but here we go. Yeah, let's get started. So I thought I'd come and show you the pattern pieces that I had to prep and show you kind of what I had to do to them. So the skirt frill pieces, you just need to finish the side seams, so I did those. The bodice, the front bodice piece. Sorry if you can hear background noise, by the way. I've got my studio doors open and there's traffic noise. So yeah, with the front bodice piece, you need to use some interfacing or some hem tape. I don't have any hem tape, so I've just used little bits of scrap facing that I keep hold of. And you have to do the facing in between your notches. So notch, notch, notch. So you just finish that off like that. That just gives it some structure, stops it from stretching out. The strap pieces, you have to finish just two of the short edges. The neck facing piece, you need to interface and then finish the bottom edge. Also, for anyone wondering, this rainbow overlocker thread is so cute. I'll leave it linked below because I always forget the name of the brand where I purchased it from, but I always get a lot of questions about it and I just find it looks so cute on all of my makes. It means I don't have to change the thread every time, and I just think it's a nice little touch to your garments. Even though it's on the inside, no one sees it apart from you. I just think it's super cute. The 4 pocket bags, you have to finish all the way around. The sleeve casing, you have to finish both pieces on the top. And then the skirt panels, I've got 2 skirt panels, but obviously one is slightly shorter than the other because you cut one skirt panel at this line for dress side B, and then you cut one skirt panel at this line for dress side A. So for the dress version you have like slightly 2 different sizes, but I think that's because you have elasticated at the back. And the other one's attached to the top. So yeah, you have to finish that on the side seams, and then on the side B you have to finish the top as well. All of that's obviously in the instructions, but I just wanted to give you a visual representation on the finishes that I had to do and the prep work that I had to do before sewing. The first step in the instructions is to gather in between these notches. So you need to gather them, and then you put on more tape on top of the gathers, and it like keeps it together. So that's the first thing we need to do. So I'm just going to go over to the machine and pop in those gather stitches. So it wasn't until I was reading the instructions that I had misplaced these little gather facings, which is pattern piece 10. So I just need to get those prepped now because I lost them. Also, for anyone wondering, I always use my Cricut mini press when I'm sewing. I just like having like a tabletop iron. You can get little mini irons. This is quite expensive, but it's because it's a craft easy press. You know, you can do things like iron on vinyl and stuff with it, but you can get like travel sized irons, which is such a great little hack if you're sewing on your desk and you don't want to have to keep getting up to iron your seams and stuff. Right, now we can sort the gathers of our top here. And what I believe is the notches end up matching the notches of that one. Right side of the gather piece facing the wrong side of the bodice. That's what it says on the instructions. So you need to match up your notches with those little lines that we created. And then, where's the other notch? There. And then we have to pull that gather stitch to make sure this runs flush, and then we stitch it 0.9 inches away from the edge.
Alright, so I'm just going to do that and then I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm just going to run a stitch on that, make sure that the gathers are evenly distributed, but I like to do that on the sewing machine as I'm sewing, using like a pin just to sort of move them. This is the fun of doing a new pattern, as I never know what to do, and it doesn't say if you have to sew just between the notches. In the diagram it looks like it's just between the notches, but then you have to fold it like that. So you put on the facing and then fold it so that it meets the bottom. So I'm just going to do that now. I literally don't know the meaning of this. I'm guessing it's just to strengthen those gathers, but we shall see. So taking the neckline facing, the right sides together, and then we are sewing this, I believe, around the neckline. So just going to pin those together. That's a 1 centimeter seam allowance, so we just need to stitch around there. I feel like the way they've written the instructions, like, kind of is fine, but it's just not spelling it out to me like I'm dumb. You know, when you need like all of the steps like laid out really like straightforward, it's not doing that. So I feel like it takes me a bit longer to sort of follow what I'm doing. So anyway, you have to clip the corners and then understitch it to the facing piece. Okay, and then we can just understitch that. So I just did the straps, and actually it didn't say it in the pattern, but make sure that it's right sides together. So say there's your neckline piece with your facing. I was doing it on the inside, putting the piece in there, but it's actually on the inside this way with right sides facing together like that, with your centerfold matching your seam. Yeah, so that's just the way I read patterns. Sometimes my brain just doesn't work the way that it's probably really super easy to a lot of people, but for me that's just the way my brain functions sometimes. So yeah, so I've just done that, and then the next step is to fold your facing as neatly as possible against your bodice piece, and then we're going to be doing a stitch along this side underarm. You just want to stitch down there. I think it's 0.5 it says in the instructions. So that's where I've got to, guys. That was about an hour's sewing, so I just want to show you kind of the time it takes to sew. Hello, so I'm back sewing the Estella dress. So I'll show you where I got to with my last sewing session. I've got obviously the straps in place there with the elastic, and then the safety pins attached to it as well. So I'm hoping to make a good I'm hoping to get a good amount of sewing done in this session today, because I've got until this afternoon. What time is it now? 11:30. So I've actually got until this afternoon to work on this. I'm hoping to get a good amount done. I've got about 2-3 hours of sewing that I can get done here, so yeah, hoping I can get quite a good chunk done. I've got an iced coffee here, and I'm going to set my machines up. Got my laptop there in the corner, as you can see behind me. So it's just a case of cracking on now, really. Hello. Suddenly the sun came out and it's boiling hot. So the next step is actually the sleeve. Oh my god, what's this angle? It was right at the bottom, friends. So yeah, next step is the sleeve and gathering the sleeve. So it says here, gathering stitch between centre notch and double notch on each sleeve, and between notches on the armhole of each wrap bodice. Right then. I always struggle with new pattern instructions, because there's like quite a lot. I can see it's all thorough, but this is a new brand for me, so their terminology is a little bit different to what I'm used to. So I'm definitely making this slower than I would like. It's quite annoying, and what I should do is follow my own advice and read all of the instructions. Maybe I'll stop filming, actually read it all and then go back to where I am, because I'm getting confused with the steps. literally bleeding. Okay, I need to read the instructions and put my brain on because clearly I'm making silly mistakes. Hello. So I thought I'd show you what that step looked like. So obviously that was the top that we had before with the elastic bits, and then our wrap front sections have gather stitches under this arm bit. So the piece looks like that. There's gather stitches there, and then same on the other side. And then there's gather stitches on the sleeve, which is on the floor at the moment. That's a separate. And then the step that it just said was to pop the finished edge of the strap against that corner. So there's the armhole against the corner here, right sides together, but you want to make sure that the facing is facing backwards like that, because when that goes up and round, I had to kind of do this to sort of get my head around it. So say that's the front, so say you've got it like that, you turn around and it's like that, if that makes sense. So this, and the elastic bit is encased in there, so just going to base stitch that near the edge. Here you go, guys. Oh god, the bird's just come outside. So I've just done that process of attaching the sleeve. Let's open this flap for a second. So you can see, it's really interesting actually. Sorry, the birds are annoying outside, but you just, yeah, I'm just gonna have to carry on. So we've got the gather here, and then the elastic that I've just tightened and then stitched in place. And now what we need to do is these, oh, that's the back bit. So you can kind of see it's coming together, it's starting to slowly take form as a top. So that bit obviously wraps over and ties up. And you've got these big bellowy sleeves. So now what we need to do on these like tie bits, a miniature iron, we need to roll them. So you're essentially just doing a very small 0.5 centimeters, then 0.5 centimeters little roll like that. So we do it all the way from underneath here. Just use my mini iron. Amazing. So we need to do this all the way around that tie piece, top and bottom, and then we do the small end as well, and then we stitch it. So I'm going to work on that now. It's going to take me a while to iron all of this down and obviously get this sewn. So I've just moved on to the next bit. The pockets are going onto the dress. So I've just got this piece with the finished top. Just put the pocket on there, matching up the notches. So once they're stitched, like this one, you want to iron it, and then we sew the seam allowance to the pocket like that. So we top stitch that down like that. So here's what the top is looking like so far. I've just pinned it underneath because that stitch gets done at a later date, but how pretty is that? And then turn it around, and I've just done a little bow at the back for now. But yeah, it's so cute. I love it so much. The only thing I think might be an issue on me is this back piece. What I should have done really is taken some away from the back, because I've got quite a narrow shoulder adjustment, a narrow shoulder measurement. So I've got a feeling it's going to be quite gapey at the back. If that's an issue, then I know for future makes to just on that centre front, you know, where you have like the pattern pieces on the fold, just to take a little bit away from there. It was quite an easy amendment to make, but I forgot to do it on this pattern, and obviously this is the first time I'm making this, so this is essentially like a wearable toile, if you like. Other than that, it's looking really pretty. Can't wait to see what it looks like on me. Hopefully it will look pretty, because I don't really have big boobs, so I don't know how it's going to fit around them, but at least with this fabric you can sort of like ruche it upwards if you need to. So yeah, I think it's going to look really pretty when it's on.
Hey guys, so I'm just moving on to the skirt pattern. So I need to add gather stitches to the top of this part. I'm not sure what piece this is, but it's the one without the finished edges. So I need to add gather stitches to this, and then once I've done that I can start to attach the skirts to the bodice, which is exciting. As you will see as well, I've already, this is pinned to the mannequin, it's not attached in any way, it's just pinned on so I can see what it looked like. But this skirt panel is done already. I skipped a piece of instructions and moved on to do that skirt, and then I can do the gather stitches in this one, and then I can put it all together. So I've just pinned the skirts together. The waistband of the elastic hits the notch on the bodice, and then obviously you pin around the pocket. So I'm sewing down around the pocket and then down. Hi guys, so this is where I've got to. The skirt is now attached to the dress, and I've just gone in and tried it on. And stupid me, in the instructions it says keep a safety pin on one side of your elastic and don't stitch that bit up yet, just leave it unstitched so that you can try it on and make sure the elastic fits okay. I just did that, and the elastic is like a little bit like baggy on my belly. It's weird to describe, but what I'm going to do is just unpick this side seam and pull the elastic and then just amend that. Once that's done, I then sew up the sleeve all the way down the skirt and then move on to the sleeve casing. So we're getting there, and then the next process is obviously the sleeve and then the skirt frills. So yeah, I need to amend this and then I can move on to sewing it all up, which is exciting. So those side seams are now together. So I can move on to the sleeve casing. Just have to sew right sides together, this small little edge here, and once I've done that we will iron the seam allowance open. So hi guys, so the dress is so nearly finished. Apologies, I have a cold. It's been like nearly a week since I worked on it, just because Willow has been sick and life has just been a bit up in the air, but I'm so close to finishing it, so I'm hoping while she naps to get it finished, if not nearly finished. So I've just got the skirt ruffle to do and the elastic on the sleeves, so literally just such a small thing, but knowing my luck she'll wake up.